Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Max and Yo-Yo. Before we dive into this video, please continue to like, subscribe, and share. We really need you. We're on a big push to 500 subscribers, and we need your help to get there. And today we're going to be continuing with our guest Adedoyin, who joined us for the last episode where we discussed some nuggets in career and transitioning in it as a new immigrant. And if you haven't had the opportunity yet to see that episode, I know it's gonna bless you, whether you're in the career space or not. If it doesn't bless you, it's going to bless somebody close to you. So please go back, watch that episode, and then share it to someone in your network, because we want as many people to be able to glean from the information that we've shared. But today we'll continue the conversation. We want to say a big thank you to Adedoyin for coming back on the pod to complete this interview. So thank you so much and welcome back.
Thank you very much, Max and Oyoyo, for having me back. It's an absolute pleasure to be here to contribute to the discussion. Yeah.
Thank you. So Yo-Yo, let's get right into it. I think we were talking about how, from where we stopped last time, we wanted to kick into like some more scenario-based situations in terms of like when people go to interviews, answering questions, the posture that they should have when answering questions. I thought we discussed that, yes?
Yeah, we were going to get in, and so we decided to cut it at that point, and because we didn't want a break in that, and so we decided to have another session for that. And so, Adedoyin, my curious questions to you is: some people think that when they get into the interviewing session, they should be all smiling, and does that really add value to their sessions?
Well, it's nice to come in, confident and smiling, but not all through the session. So you come in introductions, with confidence. Um, Once you come in, you have a big smile on your face, not necessarily how will I put it now? Just like professional smile, and you're confident even asking what's your name. My name is, even before, I mean, as you come into the interview session, mostly the way it runs is someone will literally come and have you and then bring you in. But once you come in, be confident enough to say, good morning, my name is Ade, what's your name? And then just sort of have that first conversation. It shows that level of confidence, with smile and confidence. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. And so the next question usually is tell me about myself. That question is very little but mighty. So what is the strategy? What are recruiters looking for when people answer that question? Tell me about yourself.
Okay, so most of the time they've gone through your resume, and I'd just like to say, cut it to go straight to the point, be clear, be concise. As you know, so I'll give maybe a typical example. As you know, my name is Ade. Or if we're a typical Nigerian and our name is difficult to pronounce, that would be a good time to say, you could call me, or this is the way you pronounce it. So it's easier for us to have, a nice little conversation. You can bring that in. My experience, spans across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. Main projects that I've worked on are these, and these are the impacts that it has made. I'm sure that as we go along the way, and I'll speak more about, my experiences as it relates to this role. So it should be very brief, very concise, avoid unnecessary details, just stick to the main points.
Oh, interesting. And I think that what you just said is quite good, because a lot of people imagine you've worked in 5 places before. The mistake that people often do
Yeah.
is to wanna tell you about everything. And I've made that mistake before. So just listening to you is like, oh, okay. I don't have to explain each and every one of the things that I did there. So just keep it sweet, keep it concise, high level to the role that you're interviewing for in that
So,
moment.
so if you've had, so for instance, let me just, if you've worked in like 5 places, you don't have to literally say, I've worked in Globacom, I've worked in MTN. No, I have 13 years experience that spans across human resources. And within the human resources team, I've done talent and acquisition, performance management, talent management, career management, learning and development, and then you cap it up. So
Interesting. So one of the things that I like to do, and I don't know if this is something that is a good thing. So I'm just putting myself on blast here. Is I always have like scenario-based answers, for my questions, for questions that potentially may come up, you know, when I'm asked in an interview, for example. I don't know, is this something that you would recommend that people do or people have as they go into interview scenario? And how do you want people to, as a recruiter yourself, how would you like people to tailor, if indeed a scenario is necessary, how would you like them to tailor that scenario based response for a question?
so most of the time, a lot of the questions are also centered around scenario-based answer. But in preparing for your scenario, I'll always advise candidates to use the STAR method. There are some questions that are direct to the point. Maybe tell me your for instance, if they're testing for your word, tell me your three best word function. Just go directly to the point. I use this for this, I use this for this, and I use that for that. You don't need to come up with a scenario-based question in that instance. But for question that says, can you describe a situation where, then you would require a scenario, and that will be when your preparation with the scenario-based answers would come in. And I always say that use the STAR method. That's the situation, task, action, and result. Just briefly describe the context to which you perform the task, and that's a situation. Your task, explain what you had to do, not now we, because we're used to we. Explain, this was my task in this. You can say it's a team of 4, but this was what I was asked to do. Then describe your specific action that you took to complete to solve the problem. Then share the results, the outcome of the action that you did, and how it sort of benefited the whole, project.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. So again, I don't know if you guys got that. The STAR method is how you want to go when you're preparing your scenario responses. And also scenario responses are very good, but only when it is required. So you have to be able to discern when is a scenario response required and when do I need to go straight to the point. Yo, do you want to come in here?
Oh, absolutely. And so when it comes to providing that answer, don't use that point to tell all your good points, all your stories. Remember, keep it concise because you have less than 1 minute to sustain their interest, or you can blow it away. So remember to sort your words, sort your thoughts, and be very strategic with your response. And so, Adedoyi, one curious question will also be for our listeners will be, when they say tell us about your weakness, I've seen people struggle with presenting that response. What should it be like? Should it be all the negatives about you, or should it be a strength that you could convert? What is that? What do you guys look at for in that question?
Okay, so when you're asked about your weakness, a lot of people would sometimes you can make your weakness into like strength, right? So I'll give an example. Um, Tell me about your weakness. I can say, oh, my weakness is that I don't rest until I get something done. I know that this can affect my work-life balance, work-life balance. Um, but you know that that is some sort of strength as well, knowing that oh she's not going to, when I give her a task, she's going to ensure that um she gets it done till the end. So don't say that how will I put it? Don't come and say, I have issues with committing to doing a task. It will get me worried. Do you understand? So even if I
Yeah.
say weakness doesn't necessarily mean that um you you, there's a way you can just make weakness into some strength, right? You can say, I like to dot my I's and cross my T's. I like to, or take my time to look at a project. Take my time to look at a project doesn't mean, so sometimes I may take a bit of time. But in other words, I say, oh, this person is so, result oriented that even though they may take their time, but then go on to say but I'll communicate. I'll let you know that, so to ensure that I give you the best. And you now give an example. But I've seen, track records of people saying, I don't even have to make any corrections on your work. I know you take your time, but I don't have to make corrections. And I like the fact that you gave me notice. I like the fact that, or you can say, now that I know that this is my weakness, I start on a project earlier than scheduled, or I just give you my own extra time. I know that and I don't ask for overtime pay for that, because I know that. And then, did you see how I answered that question? You can say, oh, I take my time to look at things, but I would not allow that to eat into my work time. So I always give like 2 extra hours after work to just sit down and, ensure that I put in all of those extra hours so that I can deliver on my task on time.
This
Oh,
is a
that's
very
that's
Turn it
really
to
good, because I
question.
remember I think I was in one interview, and I'm putting myself on blast. When I was starting out my career, I think one of the first interviews I did, they told me, oh, tell us about your weaknesses. And I said, sometimes I don't have confidence.
No,
So
so if that role requires you to be confident, that would be like a red flag to them. Do you get?
exactly, I didn't get the job. So yeah. So clearly, when they say tell us a little bit about your weakness, they don't necessarily mean that you should shit on yourself and you
Mm-hmm.
know, you know, pile on yourself and talk about all the things that you're bad. You just need to take a scenario that should seem like a weak, well, really everybody knows it's a strength, but
Mm-hmm.
turn it into a super strength, and that will be your answer. I guess then the next question I want to ask is this, and I think I find myself, and again, I think I'm putting myself on blast here today. I think I found myself in this scenario many times in the past.
Mm-hmm.
You're asked a question, you start to answer the question, but then you're not sure that you're answering the question correctly. And then you get to that point where you are stuck in the middle, you're not quite sure whether to go forward or to go back. From a recruiter's perspective, what would you advise a candidate when they get to this point where they're not sure if they're answering the questions properly, and now they're stuck? If should I go continue on this track that I'm on, or should I go back to the beginning and restart my answer?
Well, so one thing I recall, I mentioned this as well in the last class. I said, you can always say to them, you can always say, am I on the right track? Did I answer the question the way you want me to answer it, or do you want me to give another example? Most of these people are very sensitive. They can say, can you use another scenario? That didn't really answer my question, right? And then always just quickly judge, look into their people's faces. You can judge, am I going off point or am I making sense? Do you understand? So you can easily decipher that when you are speaking with them.
That's good. So again, quick take away from here from this question is, when you get to that point where you're not sure, always ask question. I think our people used to say people that ask questions don't used to get lost. So if you're not sure if you're answering the questions correctly as you should, you can ask them, if have I answered your question, or do you want me to do a different scenario? And I think usually they will tell you. But I guess my question is, and this is a follow-up question from that same question, sometimes the interviews are quite limited, and I don't know that many times they do have the time to say, oh, give me another scenario.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you recommend like candidates do to ensure that they maximize their one chance opportunity in answering the questions as concisely and precisely as possible?
Another thing you can ask, if you know that the question is not clear, you can
Mm,
say, I don't quite understand that question. Can you maybe explain further? You can ask that question. They would re-explain it or retweak it for you to have an understanding. It doesn't take anything off you. It's you trying to understand. You can also say, and I have like a minute to put my thoughts together. Always go to an interview with your notes, your pen and your paper. It also shows that you're very attentive. I want to, get all the details down. So you can use like a minute to just put down your thoughts together and just refer to the things that you've put down to for that buttress your answers to the questions.
okay,
all
that's
right.
very good. Thank you so
Mhm.
much, Yo-Yo.
Yeah, thank you so much for your clearly articulated responses, Adedoye. So I want to introduce another set of questions. It's not about interviewing now. It's for those
Okay.
people that have spent like maybe 10 years in a particular role. They've spent like 10 years to 12 years in a particular company. I think they've stretched and they've grown and they feel they've reached their max. Would you recommend a change in career, or would you recommend they should see a career counselor? What would be that thing that would boost their career journey again?
Okay, so I always say that sometimes we play too. We get to that point where just coasting. I don't know what to do. I don't know what direction to move to. Now, some people are um they have the strength, or they've been able to work on themselves. If you're that type of person that you know that you can speak to yourself, you can get yourself out of that situation, you can by your I mean in personally analyze your situation, understand where you want to go to, you need to take that steps. Do I want to move forward in this career? Am I struggling here? Do I feel like I need a career change? If you can help yourself with this conversation, fantastic. If not, um, you may need to see a career counselor. You may need someone to help you, deep dive into deep questionings, questions that can help you, just give you that light bulb moment to say, oh, okay, I think this is where I'm stuck. You'll be surprised that myself as a career counselor, I sometimes would seek another career counselor just so that I can get a light bulb moment. Sometimes we get stuck. Sometimes I'm just stuck on what's the next thing to do. I think I have this idea. How do I juggle these things together? Is it really meant for me? So those with their help, I can you know, find the direction that I'm going to. So if you have people that have spent 10 years in a particular career, 20 years, and they feel, um, what do I do now? Where do I go to? And you need someone to just help you with, that self-assessment, reflection, or someone to help you with um just help you draw up a map to say this is now the path that I want to go through, career pathing. You may need to see a career counselor.
Okay. Thank you for that, Adedunyi. And with the high increase of immigration and also international globalized education, so would it be useful for them to just jump into another field, or would you really strongly recommend they think through what their strengths are also, or they look at the career counselors opportunities, or they look at what is obtainable in their new location and just dive in?
Yeah. So all 3 points are good, but at what point do you want to make that decision? You can't just get into a new terrain and say, "Oh, this is what everybody is doing," and then you dive in. Like you said, who am I? It first starts with you. It starts with your self-reflection. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What do I take? What do I reject? What do I embrace? What do I let go? What do I say yes to? What do I say no to? Not every opportunity is beneficial to me. So first of all, understand your family dynamics, understand yourself, understand what works for you, and then you now draw up a strategic map. This is what I want to do. This is what my journey is going to be like. I'm a Christian, so if I refer to the Bible says, write your vision and make it plain. Like I always say, always have a plan. You can't just dive in. I can't do what every other person is doing. I'm not everyone. You are unique in yourself, so that you don't feel burnout, or you're not. That's what leads to a lot of depression, or people start having psychological issues. All of those things are because you've not taken your time to really take a step back, look at the whole picture, look at yourself. How do I fit in? What do I need to do? So those are the things that we need to sit down and strategize and look at. Don't just say, okay, now HR is striving, I want to move to HR, or IT is striving, I want to move to IT, or project management is striving, I want to move there. No, you're just going to be, I don't want to use the word, you will probably not get to the peak of all those things that you want to do. But look at yourself. I've seen people say, I am done with finance. I'm now here. I want to have a new career trajectory. And I've sat down to work with them. Okay, you need to do what are the developmental things that you need to do. Do you need to get a mentor? Start looking for a mentor for them, someone that can just sort of guide them on that journey. While you know that we're in a fast-paced economy, bills are not waiting for you. What do I need to do temporarily before I get into this particular stage? So those are the things that maybe a mentor or a career counselor or a coach can help you with, just give you clarity on. And you can both drop like a developmental plan that you follow through while you are doing something so that you're not burnout. You should enjoy what you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much for that. And I think I have a question that will pivot away from this, but I also have a question that will stay with this. So I'm going to start with the second one. So in terms of, I know we've been talking about career change from a recruiter's perspective. What does that look like? If I have 10 years in project management, for example, and then now I'm applying to a different role totally outside of project management, when you come across my CV or you come across my, or, let's say my CV comes across your desk, what is the first thing that comes to you? And I guess in this point, is how easy, the question, I guess the question is, how easy is it really to pivot in career when we're really talking about these things for people who are actually there and thinking about it?
It's basically easy, Max. So I'll give an example. If you've always done project management and I'm seeing a resume for something different. Number one is looking at, are you applying for like an entry level role? I would literally sense that, oh, she wants a career change. There's nothing bad in having a career change. I've seen people, so it's where I would be a bit taken aback is if you're now applying for a senior role in a role that you're trying to just move into, then there's no balance in that aspect. But I work in HR. I've seen people take a pay cut. I've seen a lot of people take pay cuts just so that they can move into the career that they've always wanted to move into. Or some people will say, I'm just tired of this. I don't think it's working for me. I don't think I'm made for this. And then I don't mind taking a pay cut, but I just want fulfillment in this area. And, we go on from there. But when I'm looking at your resume as well, if you're moving maybe from a non-technical role to a technical role, what have you done to qualify you for this technical role? So have you done training? Have you done certification? You need to be able to see all of that on your resume. And that will tell me that, oh, this person is looking for a career change. They have the corporate experience. So I think it will be easy for them to just transition into this new role. Why not give them the opportunity? And I'm thankful that we are in a terrain in a business terrain where age is not a limitation. You can wake up at 55 and say, I want to do something different, and you'll be given that opportunity to do it. So those are just the things that we'll be looking out for. If you're having, I'm just recapping, you're changing career. So I'm looking at what education have you had in that area? What little training have you had? I hope you're not applying for like the senior role that would require 7 years experience when you have none in that aspect. You need to be able to look at all of those parameters and be true to self. I always say, be true to self. I know that we all believe in miracles, but yes, be true to self.
Oh, thank you. That's so interesting. And then I guess my second question would be, this is a hot topic between applicants and recruiters. And I think it comes to the area of jumping jobs, frequency in jumping jobs. There is an argument among applicants that the easiest and quickest way to grow your income is jumping jobs, and when I say jumping jobs, I mean moving quickly to different companies, whereas recruiters might have a different take on it. And I don't mean to put you on a spot, but what is your take on that?
So if I see as a recruiter, I know in Nigeria we jump a lot so that we can get the next level. And yeah, I wish I'd done that as well. There's no need staying too faithful to an organization, thinking, oh, I'll get next level. I should have also jumped from maybe like every 3 years, maybe way back in Nigeria. Yes. For your own, yeah, everything still boils that. I always say that, yes, I'm passionate about my job, but finances as well. Is a motivational factor for a lot of people to stay on the job. Who will go to wake up to a job and do it for free? Why are we disgruntled when people get promotion and we don't get we don't get promoted? It still boils down to the financial reward. If I am on a job and I get financial reward every year, I'm not going to complain. If I am an entry level and I'm getting my MD salary, what's my own with the MD's role? If our pay is commensurate to the same thing. It's not about the grade, it's about the finance. So let's be sincere with ourselves. I just wanted to put that down. Um, so let's flip it. If I'm looking at a resume and I see you moving every 1 year, I'm worried. I can literally say, this person is going to give me the years I'm looking for. Especially if you've moved in 7 years, you've moved eight organizations. I'm going to put that down as a note to say this person is very upwardly mobile. I can see that a trend shows a move like every. I always say to people, try and stay in that organization for at least 3 years. If I say a 2 year, 3 year, I'm not worried. Like this person is very ambitious. So if you give them what they're looking for, they would stay. If not, they will move. And as an HR professional as well, is we've been able to categorize talent. We have people that are high potentials. High potentials are always restless. They want to see what's the next project, what am I moving on to? So for those kind of people, you need to keep them engaged, ensure that they are financially rewarded as much as you're giving them as much work as was possible. So if you really so you can literally look at a resume when by the time you have a conversation with someone, is it a financial reward or is it just what and they're looking for, you need an organizer, you need an employer that can also keep them excited, that can also keep them, on their feet while they're being financially rewarded as well. So 2 3 year move, not bad. 1 year move, that's a red flag. 2 year
Oh,
move, yeah, a bit of red flag. So it depends on where you also are in your career. So if you've had like 5 years of experience and you've moved twice, I'm probably not worried. But if you've had 15 years experience, you've moved 10 times, I'm worried.
mm,
Yeah.
interesting.
This is
Interesting. So
just
it's all,
giving us coach you.
no, but actually, there's one thing that I have one last question from that because I want to stick with it a little bit because I know it's a hot topic. Every time you go on LinkedIn, it's someone has written an episode about it. So I do have one question, and you mentioned about high potentials. I wonder what the other categories are, and because I'm trying to like put myself in see where I would fall in mentally. But
Okay,
anyway,
so that's
my
another
question,
big topic on its own. So
yeah, I don't know if patry is necessary, but okay. But let's talk about this. Let's stick with this in terms of like you talked about the how did you say keeping high potentials engaged. And some people, everybody know, even the recruiter know that is money. That's because again, nobody wants to go through the stress in the corporate space for free. But I don't know. Nobody has ever come out, and I know I haven't come out bold to be like, get my money up so that I can stay with you. So I don't know how you would advise people to be like, actually, my finances are quite paramount to me because, like, when people ask me that question, I always say, oh, the ability to make impact, the ability to make change, that, but really, the truth is, if you pay me well, you see the best.
Mhm.
So, how would you recommend I say that without actually, coming up as money hungry, which I really am, to be fair?
So during an interview, for instance, you see people will come up to say, "What's the me?" I mean, if a recruiter reaches out to me, I'm asking you, what's the total remuneration for this role? Because I'm not going to move for this particular amount of money. That's always my first. If you say this is, I'm like, I'm not interested because I'm never going to move for this remuneration. It's way maybe below what are my expectation. And it's not always so. I would say that don't bring up this conversation at the interview. You should, before the interview, you should have conversations with the hiring manager to say, and so that's why a lot of people would don't waste your time going into an interview without you knowing what's the financial reward for this particular role, because I would not want to bring up that conversation when I'm interviewing. I don't know if you understand. So I don't look, but someone will always reach out to you, whether by email. I would respond, sorry, can you tell me the pay band for this role? If I see that it stays within what I'm looking for, fantastic. Now, you have some organizations that if you say you're resigning, they're asking you, why are you leaving? And I'm literally going to tell them that, hey, I've been on this level, I've not moved, someone is hiring me. Literally, why am I moving? It's basically because of the pay. Yes, I've moved in the line of my career. I've had to move once because of the company culture, because of, it wasn't benefiting me any longer, I would gladly say, this is why I'm moving. I'm not moving for any pay. I'm moving because this culture stings and it no longer serves my mental capacity. In that instance, fantastic. But if not, it is the remuneration. I'm moving because I'm getting this particular pay. And we've seen organizations now begin to match those pay. And it matches those, yes, I can stay because it's not easy to start in anywhere else. I have to start learning the new company culture, start building career sponsors within that organization, etc., etc. So so people already know the gimmicks. They will come with another offer and say, I got another offer. But it will also get to a point where it's all caps, right? And then you will know that, okay, now I need to sort of prove myself. Now let's flip it. If you're a low performer and you think I'm gonna move because I want to get the next pay, you're very soon you're gonna get yourself burnt out. So low performance, don't be looking for IP, look to make an impact, because if you're really making an impact and the quality of your work is producing, positive productivity for the organization, they wouldn't want to lose you. You say you're going, they will put you down and you have those conversations. They would increase your pay, whether you like it or not, except if it's a unionized environment where they can't really do anything, without the union. But if not, they would match that pay.
Interesting.
Hmm.
I was just
Thank
thinking of
you.
it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for these hot nuggets. And definitely we're going to have part 3, but not anytime soon. And so we'll come back to you with some strategic hot topic. Thank you so much for taking your time to do this with us this morning. We really appreciate you. And to our listeners, if you have any questions, you can put it on the comment. But if you don't want to put it on a comment, you can send us an email. We'll be happy to push it directly to Adedoyin, and she'll be happy to provide a direct response as well. So we still want you to subscribe to our channel, share the videos, click the likes, and hit the subscription button. And we look forward to more different topics, keeping our 30 plus community real and healthy. Have a wonderful week and take care.
Bye-bye.